we need to change the food system in an epic way, right? And I look at all these companies that are very important, right? I think Impossible Foods is a very important company. I think Oatly is a very important company. I think Ttcf is an incredibly important company. And, to see any of these companies go under that, in my opinion, are very important to this movement, it would be a huge letdown for the entire plant-based food space. It'd be a huge letdown to that entire movement. And I would hate to see it. Like I said, not just from the financial front, but literally from the front of making this happen. Because in order to combat the Coca-Colas, the Pepsis, the Frito-Lays and all the snack companies and all the other companies that are in this different space that sell, products that just aren't healthy for folks, right? In order to combat that, you need other big companies to grow that hopefully can get us on the right path. And if you don't have those companies, then those old school companies that got us into this place of 70% of the United States population overweight or obese, right? Those are going to continue to dominate. And in terms of those metrics of how many people are obese or overweight, it's just going to continue to get worse. That's a trend we've seen for decades and decades and decades. So we need a massive change in movement here, but it's not going to happen without big corporations that are part of that movement. And the old school guys, they're happy with this. They're happy that 70% of the population is overweight or obese. They're happy with how everything's been going. They've been making bank off that. And so, it's unfortunate, and that's just another huge reason why I hope this company makes it, man. I really, really do. Because it would be a huge loss to the whole movement that's been going on there, man. A huge loss, okay? And like myself, I love to eat these for lunch, for instance, right? A veggie hemp bowl. I mean, this is just clean eating, baby. Clean eating. Look at the ingredients list. I'll pull it up for you guys. That's clean eating, right? Super healthy. Super healthy. Like, it doesn't get much healthier than that, to be quite frank, right? But let's just be honest. If you gave the average American an option for lunch, and they got that as an option, or they got this, I mean, I wish they chose this. But just in all reality, they're going to choose this. We know, Americans are unfortunately addicted to these very unhealthy diets, and it's hard to break. It's really, really hard to break, and so it is what it is, man. It's very, very frustrating, and it's crazy because it's hard to even see the situation getting better, right? And I was taking a look at this, right? The percent of Americans that are either overweight or obese is 70% roughly now. 70% of Americans are either overweight or obese now at this point in time. It's even becoming a problem for the military. I remember first hearing about this, several years ago. And basically, the U.S. military has a huge problem with obesity, and it's only getting worse. Basically, if you didn't know, the military, like who's really in the military, right? It's folks 18 to 30, right? That's going to who enlists in the military, right? And over half of young adults are now obese or overweight. Study finds over half. So basically, if you're the military, you have to wipe out at least half of people from the United States of America that are kids. Like half of them, you don't even have a possibility of being in the military, right? And so that's just a crazy thing. I mean, it's a wild time, man. It's a wild time when you even think about the implications if we ever actually had a serious battle, let's just call it that. I don't want to use the W word, it might get demonetized, but and it brings me to a stock like Weight Watchers, right, which is a fascinating stock. You look at the stock over the past 20-25 years or so, and it's had some big ups, and man, it's had some big downs, and recently it's been in a big down, but actually recently they just acquired a company that's going to allow them to sell, let's call it a product that is very, very popular for people that want to lose weight. And so, I don't know, it might be worth doing a little digging there and seeing if there's something there for people that might be interested in a more speculative play that you're looking for something to do some more research on. Do a little research on that one. I'll put it like that, okay? Everybody's always looking for the easiest way out. Let's call it that, right? Ex-Goldman CEO Lloyd Blankfein, this just came out here recently in the past few hours, says bank rout may depress growth even with robust capital. By the way, Lloyd Blankfein was a very good CEO for Goldman Sachs. Very good. He got them through the great financial crisis. I always looked at him as kind of like, I respected him as much on Wall Street, if not more, than even Jamie Dimon. And I kind of put Lloyd Blankfein and Jamie Dimon like up there at that upper echelon of like those guys just do a damn good job, and you don't want to mess with them. Like those guys are on their game, right? Turmoil in the banking sector will probably weigh on economic growth as lenders become more conservative, former Goldman Sachs CEO Lloyd Blankfein said on Sunday. quote, the greater financial environment for financials leads to husbanding, okay, of capital and risk-taking, less and more conservative investing and lending, and inevitably lower growth, Blankfein said. Well, some banks have been hung up by poorly managed, concentrated risks. The overall banking system is extremely well capitalized and substantially more tightly regulated than prior challenging times, he says, right? In 100%. But the interesting part of this is it is going to weigh on, in my opinion, economic growth at least a little bit in regards to this whole situation, right? Because, and I don't think it hurts a little bit short term, right? If we think about banks being tighter with lending standards and all those sorts of things, it hurts a little bit. Deleveraging, anything like that. It hurts in the short term, but I can tell you that's what sets you up for a 10, 20-year span of expansion. And so you can look at these things two ways. You can look at it from the negative perspective, like this could hurt short term, or you can look at it from the perspective of like this is really healthy long term, right? No different than, instead of eating, 4 pieces of pizza, I eat something healthy. I mean, it hurts my feelings in the short term because, damn it, I want to eat 4 pieces of pizza. But you know what is better for me long term if I eat something a little healthier, right? And so that's kind of the way I look at it. It's like the financial system in general goes on a little bit of a diet. And I don't think that's a bad thing for the long term. I think that's a very good and healthy thing long term. So, in the market, stay focused, stay taking advantage of opportunities out there, folks. You got to continue to work with a sense of urgency in this market, folks. You have to work with a sense of urgency in this market. I'm telling you, 2022, with all the crazy inflation that we've seen, the highest inflation rates in decades, right? You got bank runs that have happened recently, all the scares in the financial system. You've got to work with urgency in this market. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to take advantage of opportunities in this sort of market because I can tell you sky-high inflation is coming to an end. In terms of Fed working aggressively against the market, we're coming to about the end of those days as well, okay? In terms of bank runs, the financial system, collapse, all this stuff, that's about coming to an end as well. And so you've got to take advantage of this next, in my opinion, 6 to 12 months in front of you here and take advantage of a lot of opportunities in the market. And if you don't really know what you're doing, now's the time to get knowing what you're doing. Let's put it that way, folks. Next up here, Honest. So obviously Honest, they reported the last quarter of Nick Vlahos, the CEO, right? To be quite frank, I was pissed. That man got a golden parachute. He missed so many quarterly numbers. He, obviously the stock from the time it went public, $16 to the time he left, $1, $2 stock, just so depressing, right? And then he leaves with just silly money, right? To get fired. So, but anyways, I'm happy with kind of what Carla's doing, and she even posted this on her Instagram, right? Class in session for a post-earnings brief, got the, all the team members there, and, everybody needs to be part of this mission of Honest to get them to profitability as soon as possible, cash flow positive as soon as possible, and get this business into a healthy place, similar to what happened with Elf years ago with my Elf investment. So, I have a lot of faith in Carla. I can't get too excited about any of these folks, right? But I do have a lot of faith in Carla, coming from General Mills, coming from being a vice president of Amazon, that she'll get this company on the right track. But man, I was just so mad, seeing the numbers that Nick Vlahos got on the way out the door. Is it not small numbers, man? Substantial. And it's just like, it's like if we get fired, we get nothing from our job, right? And then you got, some of these folks that get fired and get millions and millions of dollars to get fired. It's like you do a bad job and you get that money. It's a very frustrating ordeal, right? Moody's has officially upgraded Tesla to an investment rating for the first time ever. Tesla now has a Baa3. Okay, interesting, okay? So here we are. Moody's, which graded SVB Bank, right, that just went under, they graded them with an A rating, and now we get Tesla for a B rating. I'm like, how the heck are they doing their ratings? It makes no sense, right? Tesla's an A-rated company, in my personal opinion, now at this point in time. There used to be a B or even a C or even a D-rated company in terms of balance sheet. Company now has $22+ billion of cash and cash equivalents. Solidly profitable company now at this point in time, right? They have, debts of $1.5 billion or so. They have stockholder equity of $44 billion. And I'm just like, Moody's, what are you doing, man? I don't think the Moody's knows what an A grade or an B grade and a C grade is. I'll just be completely honest. And they get proven wrong time and time again. And it's laughable to me. I'm like, if you got to throw, if they should throw some sort of A grade in front of Tesla. You don't have to throw the highest A grade, but damn it, to put this one in the B category is a huge mistake in my opinion. That's just absolutely ridiculous, folks.